Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Sudachan. I'm also CAR staff. I'm your Strategy and Engagement SVP and Chief Strategy Officer. So we are all about member engagement and strategic planning. Eileen Oldroyd, who is our special guest today, is a vice chair for strategic planning this year. So I've got to work with her a lot. Burton was also on our strategic planning committee for several years. And so you have like your CAR rock stars with us today. I want to give you a brief overview of the episode and what we'll be talking about. But first, I just want to give a huge shout out to the team that makes this happen. And Melanie is one, but behind the scenes, Megan, if you could pop on your Wednesday, we wear pink. Megan McDonald on our team. You will see her at WomanUP. She makes us all go round. So thank you, Megan. Thank you, Melanie. And we have tons of other staff that's here for our members and for you. So um, that we couldn't do this without our amazing staff. So thank you to the both of you. And now I want to get started. WomanUP isn't just a one-day event. It isn't just a, a group of people. It is a true movement, and we try to get together every single month where we share wisdom, we collaborate, we support each other. And today's episode is so special. I'm so excited that we are going to be sharing how these three amazing women in real estate have merged their passion with their professions and how real estate can really be purpose driven, how you can lead with your core values and how you can have that be a part of your business plan and your service to your clients. And so I am pleased to announce our speakers, Burton, broker owner of CMB Realty Services, and Loving Me First founder. She's also a speaker, trainer, educator, and mentor. And we'll hear more about Loving Me First when we get into our conversation. But welcome,
Thank you.
And then we also have Pam Blair, YogaBug Real Estate founder, a TV host. So we'll have to get into that. She's also a speaker, a mountain climber, and a national and local yoga instructor. And she has taught for many years yoga when Woman Up was several days over. So, Pam, welcome. We're going to talk a little bit
Yeah.
about your purpose-driven career. And then Eileen Oldroyd, broker owner of Oldroyd Realty. She's the 2025 treasurer of Orange County Realtors and also vice chair for strategic planning and finance at the California Association of Realtors and a member of Women's Council of Realtors California. And I can already hear them. Woohoo! I know you're saying it. So welcome,
This,
everybody.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Woohoo is the song of our people.
That is absolutely correct. So I'd love for each of you to share what a purpose-driven life and career means and how you connect that purpose with your real estate career and how that leads to success, not only with your own personal core values, but with your bottom line. So, I'm going to start with you, my friend. Can you share how you discovered your passion and how you merged it with real estate?
Sure. So, thank you so much for having me. Well, my passion is for people. I love helping people. And I think a lot of it comes from a time that I didn't feel like I was helped and supported, and I had to find my way just in business and in regular life. Um, that I just was like, I need help for this. And, unless you were somebody with some type of name or you had all this money, people didn't really want to help you. And I promised myself that I will help others. And for a while, I didn't even understand my purpose. I just knew I want to help others, and God reminded me that my purpose is to help others. So I'm always giving, and it spills into real estate because I love helping and educating those that I serve. So when people hire me as their agent, when someone comes along with my brokerage, my goal is to always help them and lead them to into the places that I didn't even know existed, or in areas that people didn't know they can help me, even with being a first-time home buyer. You know, that is a scary thing for many people, and most people don't realize that it is something they can achieve. I didn't think I can achieve it the way I was able to achieve it. So just being able to guide people and help people, it's just all woven in my life, my personal life, my business life, my community life. Everything I do, I find myself always helping and educating. And I just realized that's just who I am.
I love that. I love that. How did you know that your purpose was helping others? Like, how did that come up for you?
Because I realized it's crazy. When I go through some really, really tough times in life, like I have gone through, I tend to shift my focus to other people and try to take my problems. That's the way to kind of erase my problems for the moment. Like I don't drink, I don't party, I don't do all this other stuff that people do to get away from their true life. I just start helping people. I just find ways to insert myself where I can just be a help to other people, and it's fulfilling for me. And then I had to learn how, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, a little later. I learned how to turn that to help myself, because after a while, all of my everything I was going through, my emotions and things, I really wasn't processing it because I was so busy worrying about other people.
Yeah.
So it just came from me being in my unhappiness, trying to help other people become happy. I just realized I enjoy it. I absolutely enjoy it. And it just always made me happy.
Love that. And it takes a lot of emotional intelligence, which, by the way, women possess at a higher clip than most other people. But it does take a lot of emotional intelligence to tap into and know that that is your purpose. And I will get into a little bit more about that. So let's put a pin in that for a minute. But Pam, I would love to hear how you discovered what your passion is,
Mhm.
um, and how you weave your personal passion into your real estate passion and profession.
Great. Yes, I'd love to. This is like one of my favorite topics. So thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm so happy to be with my tribe again. So my passion my passion is basically a certain lifestyle and my spirituality. And so I am like driven to live basically at the highest level that I can on all levels. And that includes being connected to my inner self. So everything that I do in my business, in my life, I have a lot of energy and I tend to kind of strive for the highest experience in things. So, and I'm a yogi. So it's a weaving together of wellness, yoga, my spirituality. Basically, the way I make choices at this point in my career and my life is when I'm ready to embark on something new or I'm refining something I'm doing now, I ask myself, does this support me connecting with the deepest level of me? And if it's a no, then it's a no. And if it's a yes, it's a yes. So that might seem a little vague, but really, when I take it for everything that I do, um, that is what guides me at this point.
Well, I love that you take a moment. I think I can learn this lesson to take a moment to question, does this serve my core value? Is this a part of what I am meant to be on this planet to do?
Mhm.
And the fact that you created YogaBug Real Estate based on that question, I'd love to hear a little bit more about, and I'm sure our audience would as well, about how the yoga piece ties into the real estate piece, and you could kind of get a glimpse of it with the name of her company. But let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, it's a great story. So um, I I became a real estate agent in 2005 and full time, all in. And then I'd been a yogi and then I started teaching yoga in 2008. And I always say that YogaBug was really created out of this social experiment called my life. Because I spent a lot of time in Whole Foods in downtown Portland because I lived really far out of the city. And so my office, my yoga studio was in the city. So I was always getting food at Whole Foods and I'd stand in grocery aisle and I'm that person that people just look at and start talking to, or, I don't initiate it. They're like, well, how was your day? And when I would say, well, I just taught a yoga class, they would download their life, physical, emotional, mental, relationship life in the aisle. If I said, oh, I just met with a seller to list their house, end of conversation.
Mhm.
And so that was a really profound moment for me and a profound experience. And I was the same person in both of those worlds. And so I wanted to weave those worlds together because I thought this is crazy that here I am, the same person, same approachable person, and depending on how I responded to that question, dictated how people defined me. And so I did the audacious thing of branding myself as YogaBug Real Estate. And I also really wanted to serve the yoga world because when I moved to Portland, I didn't know a single person or a single street, and I became a full-time real estate agent. So it was kind of a crazy thing to do. And I needed a community. So I needed a way to go into the yoga studio and be appropriate in letting people know that I wanted to serve them. So I branded myself. I started a wellness series where I offered free events to that community. And the whole yoga bug thing just kind of snowballed from there. It's been a wild ride. It was an audacious thing to do, but I wouldn't be here on this panel right now if I hadn't done it.
And Pam, I mean, I think this is the lesson that you can merge your passion with your profession and it works. And even if it's yoga or
Mhm.
it's something else, something like energy conservation. And we're segueing into a little bit of Green Eileen's passion. And I'd love to hear about how you found your passion for sustainability and why you're commonly referred to as Green Eileen, and how that purpose has driven your real estate career, Eileen.
Mm. This is a good question, Sarah. I can't recall when I started to be a lover of the environment, where everything I needed to be outside in nature to be connected and to heal, and that I was the nerd when I was going on a walk or a hike that I'd be picking up trash and bringing it back to bringing it back to the trash cans. The one that would say,
Thanks, you.
leave no footprint, behind. And it was recall back in 2008 when NAR came out with the green designation that my husband and I were actually kind of contemplating my dream car at that time. And when the green designation came out, I said, "Oh my gosh, Tal," I said, "we can get my dream car so I can walk the walk and talk the talk." Now, I'm in South Orange County, and you would think that a dream car would be a Mercedes, and you would be correct. It was a Mercedes, but it was a 1985 diesel Mercedes because we could convert that to run on waste vegetable oil. And when I mean waste vegetable oil, I mean like leftover French fry oil, no additives, nothing. So we would get the oil, we would process it in our garage, and we would clean it up, and then we converted this really pretty 1985 loud diesel, to have run both on vegetable oil and on diesel fuel. And I came up with the name Green Eileen. I would love to say that the industry came up for it for me, but no, they didn't.
It was you
I
and your
came up
husband
with
in the
it.
garage.
What?
It was you and your husband in the garage.
Yeah, it was me, and that's exactly like, hey. And it was my daily driver. I loved it. I love that car. It was noisy. It was unreliable. You had to tinker with it constantly, but it really made me feel like I was fulfilling my dream as a green realtor, truly walking the walk and talking the talk. And it's led to a beautiful journey of teaching the green designation, teaching my clients about native landscaping, energy efficiency. In fact, I was just showing a property yesterday, and we were talking about how avocados are native to California. The avocado tree is native to California. We were looking at an invasive species of bird, and then we were talking about how they can put solar on their home, and how they can do inexpensive air conditioning. So it's a lifestyle. And I think a purpose-driven life is living from the heart first and the headspace second, versus when you're in a business of real estate, you are doing everything. You are the marketing, you're the negotiator, you're the doing forms, and it's a very heady business. But being Green Eileen has really helped me do what I love every day. And when you do what you love every day, you never have to work again. And it's true. It's a beautiful journey. Really is.
And that is really, I think, a huge opportunity in real estate because you can merge your different passions. You all have done that to serve your clients, right? To serve your community. And who better than a realtor to get out there in the community and know their not I was going to say their people. It's not their people, it's the people in the community. And it's how real estate really infuses all throughout the communities. And I love that. And I really just want to I want to honor that because I think that it's a lesson for all of you. I see a lot of new realtors in the chat, and you can make real estate life's work, right? It is meaningful. You are getting people into homes. That is life changing. And so I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about each of your personal why you became you got into real estate and how your values and passion are weaved into your business. And let's see, who should I call on first? So let's go with Eileen, and then we'll go to comma. I'm switching it up a little bit.
Yeah, you are. So the once again, it's a gray line. That's a really gray line. I think you kind of have to take it apart. You have to break it down to, I'm a human first, and then I'm a woman, I'm a daughter, a wife, and actually, I like to say I'm a recovering environmentalist. I'm a recovering environmentalist because a lot of environmental information is incorrect. And so I'm always unraveling what's correct and busting myths and that type of thing. And then I'm a realtor after that. So I always come from that space of how I can serve my clients and how I can show my value in a different way, because you don't have to throw a stone very far to find a realtor, uh, or a real estate agent. You don't have to throw a stone very far. And it really is this weaving of my career as a real estate professional and my love of planet Earth, and just slowly kind of incorporating that into the conversations that I have, but the bottom line of how I can save my clients money, because not everyone cares about a low flow toilet. Even I find them frustrating when I'm flushing it 3 times. I'm like, what's the purpose of a low flow toilet if I have to flush it 3 times? Think about that.
Right.
But yet finding that connection on a more ethereal level, that I really am there as their real estate coach and their partner. And I think having a different story to tell, that starts a conversation and starts finding common ground. So I
Right.
think
And
that's,
it shows your authenticity, right? People
yeah,
want to work with you and they want to like you and they want to honor your values and they want to honor your expertise, right? Or they want to tap
yeah,
into your expertise. So I
yeah.
love that. Thank you, Eileen. Comma. How did you find your passion? How did you find your personal why?
Honestly, when it came to real estate, I think I started really finding my passion when I started getting involved with organized real estate. I to be honest with you. I got to a point that I was kind of counting down my years as to what I was going to do in real estate some years ago. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do after 5 years. I knew I wanted to be, I was on the board of directors for my real estate company, for my local association. But I was like, eventually I run to be president, which I ended up doing. But when I started getting involved, like deep involved into like the California Association of Realtors, then I discovered the National Association of Realtors and the involvement. I was like, oh my gosh, there is so much. There's such a bigger reason why I'm gonna stay where I'm staying, because it just helps so many people. So that really helped me stay here in real estate, because when I got started in real estate, I'm always tell people my story is a little unorthodox. I actually got into real estate because I was looking for a place that I can work from home, because of my bad marriage I was in, and I needed something that I could have the opportunity to make my own hours, set my own hours, be there for my kids, because it was important for me to be a mother and be there to raise my kids. And I got into real estate because I thought that's what it would have afforded me to do, which it did. Don't get me wrong. It did give me a sense of freedom as well. I grew a lot. What real estate has brought so much growth in me, just professionally, and it's just helped me so many different ways that I realize this is where I belong. There's so much more, like real estate, for those that are new, just to let you guys know this, it's more than you just going to go put a sign in somebody's yard, or you going to go open a door for someone. We are way more than just that. Just being able to help people discover and understand that home ownership is possible, investment is possible, building generational wealth is possible, all of that. And fighting when we go to things like, and it looks like my computer's jumping a little bit, so let me try to fix this over here. When we go to our state and our national, and we get really involved, it's like, oh my gosh, how can you not love this industry? Because without us, without these organizations, where would we be just as an industry as a whole? So I have this great passion, this desire to continue to be here for the long run. And Sarah, clearly I forgot your question because I'm going on another tangent, but I just have this passion about this industry that I stay involved and want to get other people involved, just because I know that there's a bigger purpose out there when people really discover that. So forgot your question. Hope that answered somebody's question if you have one.
It did. And it's so funny because I think a lot of when you look at the real estate profession back in the 70s and 80s, that was the one of the only options for women. It provided a level of flexibility. And what you're also sharing with us is that there is opportunity to use our voice, our collective voice for property rights and for home ownership and for sharing information about closing cost assistance grants and things that people may not know that they have already just being in this profession and knowing all of the ins and outs of it, you can really educate your community builders. You can educate your sphere of influence about financial literacy and different bills that are coming down the pike. And I know Kama and Eileen, you're going to DC to next week to lobby uh, private property rights and home ownership. So, I mean, this is collective action that I honestly, when I got into real estate, I didn't know that existed either. And I started in commercial real estate, woo, a long time ago. Anyway, but yes, I love your answer to my non-question because it really does highlight the fact that real estate is what you make it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you can use your voice and be that community builder. All right, so Pam, I'd love to hear how you found your personal why, and if there's any insights you can share with us on how we can find our own, that would be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I found my personal why. It was a journey, of course. I got into real estate because I was disillusioned with every other profession that I did. I got to the end of it really fast. I'm that double major plus a minor in college type of person. I'm that person. I'm that person. And so what I saw in real estate was I thought, oh my goodness, sir. And I really didn't understand. I was so naive. I thought, oh, I could use this and I could do that and I could be creative and I could, it just seemed endless. And we all know that it is. So that's how I got into the business. But then I saw really quickly that I was going to get disillusioned unless I made it my own. And I had to ask myself, what, in finding my why, I had to ask myself, what is it that brings me deep joy? Because if I work from a place of deep joy and authenticity, this business will be sustainable for me for a really long time. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a career that I wouldn't get disillusioned by or get burnt out in. And so where that landed for me was kind of the yoga world and the wellness world and just lifestyle. And that's what YogaBug Real Estate's about. It's not only about yoga, it's about how I am in the world, how I present myself, how I care for myself, the boundaries I set for myself, the boundaries I communicate to my clients and the world, saying I'm the most important thing and I'm here to serve you, but I have to take care of me first. And it all built from there. I do these hikes every week, and so I realized that my why now is really just carrying that message that you can. I'm not saying it's easy because it takes an enormous amount of discipline. You can have an amazing, well balanced, healthy life, however you define that. And you can be a rock star top producer because I am here to show you that it's true, that you can do it. Yeah, so that's kind of my why right now. And so I feel like my goal is to emanate that with my clients, to encourage them to be their best selves for themselves, and also to be a role model for other real estate agents.
So Pam, just a follow-up question to that. How do you stay disciplined? Like, how do you stay on task
Hmm.
to be both, to have the
Um,
fulfillment and the
yeah,
production?
great question. And I realize I might be kind of an unusual person this way, but I schedule my wellness activities. Like, here's my day today to give you an idea. Like, literally everything is in my schedule and everything is completely non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. I'm not switching the schedule around. And so this morning I woke up at 4:30 because I had a lot to do. I wrote two contracts, one for a buyer, one for a new listing. I prepped for a camping trip I'm leaving for the minute I get off this call because I'm spending time with my girlfriend in the forest, and then I'm hiking with my other three girlfriends tomorrow. And then during that hike, I'm going to do my Portland real estate stat update to give it to the whole world. And then I have my family. I need to take care of my dogs, and I cooked this morning, and I did my yoga this morning. And so honestly, for me, it's all about scheduling and prioritizing the things that feed me, including sleep. I always tell my clients, I'm like, I am no good after 7 p.m. You do not want to work with me after 7 p.m. I might be in bed. I'd be happy to talk to you at 7 a.m.
I love that. I love that. And I love how you gave us all a very important tool, and that is to slow down, define, and question yourself. What is it that brings you deep joy? And I think we could all use that questioning in our lives. I will instill that in my career and in my personal life, because as we all also talked about in the green room, I did not get enough sleep last night and it's messing up my whole day. And tomorrow will be a better day. So I, yes, thank you. And so I do want to talk a little bit about comma when you talk when we're talking about business and aligning your purpose with your business. I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about loving me first and how you started that. Remember when I said we would put a pin in it? How you started that and how that really intertwines with why you got into real estate to begin with, and your personal life at the time. And so, do you mind sharing with us a little bit
Not at
about
all.
that?
Yeah, so Love Me First is a nonprofit I founded 10 years ago. Actually, this year we are celebrating 10 years where we put on events and things in the community. We are gearing up. I literally just got the location that I wanted this morning because I thought I wasn't going to have it. Then they texted me randomly today because I'm learning how to let go. And we're celebrating that. But the nonprofit, anytime you have a nonprofit, 9 times out of 10 it came from something you were probably dealing with yourself. And my backstory, for those that don't know, I was in a domestic violence marriage, a very controlling relationship, which is what landed me into real estate. And during that time I was going through some really, really hard times. And believe it or not, when I had looked back a few years ago, I was like, wow, I accomplished a lot going through such a hard time. I had got my real estate license. I became a notary public. I got my bachelor's, my AA degree, then got my bachelor's degree. I was just doing all of this stuff, even as I was going through a rough spot. So when I founded Loving Me First, it was because I realized that even going through all that, I was going through that bad part of my life because I did not love who I was. I did not know who I was. And Loving Me First came from wanting to help other people understand who they are. Because if you can't truly love who you are, it's that much harder for you to love and respect other people. And so my original thought was I wanted to deal with young girls that were between the ages of 18 to 25, because I had been mentoring a lot of young people, male and female, actually, in that bracket, helping them just through a whole bunch of different things. But one day the Lord was like, nope, I want you to help a younger crowd. So I helped started with 15-year high school girls who were fighting like crazy. I was like, it was World War III on my daughter's campus because the girls were fighting. And I was a very involved parent. And I went to the principal. I was like, look, I literally was crying. I was typing an email and I said, this just hurts my heart to hear that out of all of the fights, 75% of the fights were Black girls. And it was about 60 fights or so. And I told her, I said, it's because they're dealing with so much. They don't know who they are. They're fighting with parents at home. If they have a parent at home, they're going through so much that they're taking it out on one another. Can I start this program? So that started in 2015, and we just ended the year this year. And I'm actually on a hiatus right now. I cut out the program just for about a year because we're about to revamp. But I'm doing this because I tell the girls that the purpose of the mentorship program was to show them that you're going to go through obstacles, you're going to go through hard times, but you can get through it. Just understand that as long as you have breath in your body and you can get up and you can move, you can do whatever you put your mind to. You guys, I may not look like what I'm going through right now, but I'm going through a very, very, very hard time right now in my life. But guess what? I get up every day. I put on my clothes, put on my little shadow that I just learned how to put on, and I'm gonna show up because I gotta show up for myself. Because if I don't show up for myself, who else is gonna show up for me? So I teach the girls that. We're working on really blasting some things out next year. But I bring that together because that even spills out in the community. We sell a community, right? So how are we selling a community and not giving back to the community? How are we selling a community and not pouring into those that are in the community that's going to raise up and be our next teachers and police officers and working at Starbucks or Stater Brothers or wherever it is they're working, and they're angry and they're frustrated, and we just don't want to have that type of thing. So I pour that into, even when I'm working with buyers and sellers, when they're unhappy about things, I try to talk life to them. I send them encouraging text messages. We're friends on social media, so they follow the things that I do. And it just all works together in real estate because it's important for us to encourage one another. So my mission statement for the office is to empower, inspire, educate. And I do that in real estate. I do that in the nonprofit because I believe that if I can keep that at the forefront of my mind, I can again be better for myself and better for those that I serve.
First of all, that is so beautiful. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for sharing. And I know that is a part of your story and a very hard one at that. So I appreciate you sharing. And I want to say that you are the example and the epitome of creating a company that's based on your core values, right? Like it is weaved in between Loving Me First and CMB Real Estate Realty. Um, it's all one and the same. It is what it sounds like to me and what I see, and how you lead your business. And I want to honor that. I think that's beautiful. And that's why we're here, right? Is to show that you can care about something wholeheartedly, create something and weave it into your business. And I just appreciate your story. And you got so much love. I love all the hearts. So thank you. Give her some more, please.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, so speaking of core values, and that's definitely your core value in real estate. I'd love to hear, Eileen, how you first of all define your core values and then how your core values guide your real estate practice.
This is a good one. So I have the honor of leading a small group of women with the Women's Council of Realtors in something that's called the Leadership Accelerator. And it was started by Sabrina Brown when she was president of Women's Council California. She called it the I think it was a leadership
Incubator.
incubator.
Mhm.
And then it's been kind of gone through a few iterations. And we had a speaker named Natalie Davis. She's from Colorado, founder of Fort Collins Network in Colorado. And she's a superstar on the NAR stage. I mean, she's just an extraordinary woman. And she had us go from about 100 words down to 3 words of what our core values were. And mine were honesty, perseverance, and courage. Those are my three. That's what we ended up with the core values. And when it comes to how I live my life, I think that has transformed over the years with the help of Women's Council. I've got to give them credit for that. That living with honesty and courage and perseverance or grit, call it grit, is kind of what we've been through since the pandemic. That we don't have room for fluff anymore. It's like, let's get down and dirty, let's get it done, and let's move on. Not all of us have that same type of um, life value. So I think it's just kind of like helping them along, helping them along to get there. But when we find people that have those same core values, it's like we find each other, we unite, and we start getting to the task of getting things done and living a better life. And so building a business around my core values is truly finding those people that are of like mind. And I've really have seen a shift in my business to where if someone is not sharing these core values, that I'm happy to let them go. I would like to say that I should refer them to somebody that I don't like and ask for the 25% referral fee and make it part of my business plan. I may or may not have done that. But I think in order to make room in my heart space and make room in my energy space to deal with people that I love, I want to work with those people. I don't want to work with people that don't have the same type of morality that I do, or don't have the same type of conversations that I do. And I don't want to, God, this is gonna be dishonest. I want you, if you're working with me, you're working with all of me. You take it or leave it. And takes courage. Takes courage to leave somebody behind and say, I'm sorry, I can't work with you. Especially when the average real estate professional only has 1 or 2 transactions in a year. A
Yeah.
year. But I found that my business is growing, actually. So I think that's how I've been living my core values, and it's been successful.
And I think it goes back to a little bit of what Pam was saying. What is it that brings you joy? Maybe bad clients do not bring you joy, and you really need to be selective on
Yep.
who you serve because not only are they attracted to you and your business ethos, but you need to be also passionate about serving them,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
And
my goodness.
so that's what's coming up for me, Eileen, and I
Yep.
really love that. And I'd love to hear maybe Pam share some advice on for everybody here on how you can attract clients because you have done it, right? You all have done it. But how, Pam, maybe you can give us tips, tricks on how to attract clients that will align with those values.
Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. Um, the first thing that comes to mind is you have to be bold, because in order to attract the people I want to work with, and I can like honestly say 100% of the people that come through my door, I'm just blown away who comes through my door these days. It's truly amazing. But that has transpired because of an unwavering commitment to be authentic, to have certain standards and boundaries, and also to really, I mean, listen to my gut 100% of the time, which is really a big ask. You know, it's a big ask. So those are the things that guide me. And so the way I look at everything, whether it's, I'm pretty present on social media, you know, I write for Inman, I'm a TV host, I'm out, I teach yoga, I'm out in the public, in the spotlight a lot. And I'm always aspiring to show up kind of in a very transparent way and a very authentic way. So, if that makes any sense. And I think when we do that, when we come from kind of learning to trust ourselves inherently and being able to let our guard down, people open up like it's just unbelievable. And you attract like whatever your like is. It's you become magnetic is what happens. And it's a big ask, you know, because it's scary, but oh my God, it's rewarding.
It just reminds me of what you both are sharing with me right now and what's coming up is that you need to create the space so that you can have the energy for the holy hell yes. And I'm quoting Deborah Trapin, our former one of our leaders here at WomanUP. We love her. But it is really about defining what it is, showing up fully, authentically, boldly, and having the courage to say no to people who are not the right fit. And that's hard. And, Eileen, I did want to touch on something you mentioned, and that is the communities, right? Women's Council of Realtors has been a huge community for you to help you find that courage and your voice. And Woman Up is also an additional community that helps women find their voice. And so I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew like these are amazing groups and there's not, that we support each other, and Women's Council has been a supporter of Woman Up and vice versa
Yeah.
since 2017, our inaugural
Yeah.
year. So super fun time. So
Yeah.
let's switch gears a tiny bit and talk a little bit about resiliency and how we're facing some tough, challenging times, not only in California, but in real estate in general, with climate change and fires and a whole host of different challenges in the real estate profession. And so maybe starting with Kama, I'm going to start with you, is how, maybe share a story of how you can stay or you've stayed resilient through tough times.
Um, well, my life is full of tough times. This industry brings tough times. Just keeping my why at the forefront of my mind, always remembering why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not about me. And I'll tell you, for those of you all that are new, if you're in it for the money, you might as well run for the hills now. Okay. Make sure you have a true why, a plan as to what happens in tough times. I mean, right now, just for full transparency, and I'm going to be very clear when I say this because people feel like we have to be the top agent. We have to sell 100 homes. No, you do what you want to do. If selling 4 homes a year is what you choose, then be okay with that. This year, am I at my goal? Not near it. I just closed my first deal of the year 2 weeks ago, or while we were at CAR early May. but I keep going because I know that I have other things that are coming my way. I say positive things in my mind. I was talking to someone yesterday and they sent me a video, probably one of the most powerful videos I've ever heard in my life. And I decided I'm only going to share it with certain people that I know that can listen to it and understand it and really want to take their mindset to a different level. So even just understanding that the market's going to shift, things are going to change, but what am I going to do to sustain? I've been able to sustain for 20 years now, 20 years and 5 months to be exact. And I'm still here, and I don't worry about the outside noise. We hear it all the time, right? How bad real estate is, how hard things are going to be. So what? That's there. So what? We're always going to have hard times. So those are the things that kind of keeps me going because I keep working. I get up every single day and work. Like I'm trying to take Sundays off because it's my day of worship. I like to be in church. I like to have my time with the Lord. I like to be with me and my family or what have you, even though my kids are grown, but that's like my me time, trying to watch movies and things like that. But that kind of keeps me balanced, too, just taking time for myself and reflecting on the week in the past and the months in the past and what's to come. So that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me it doesn't keep me down because I know I have such a bigger and a brighter future than what I see, what I feel, and what I'm in right now. And that keeps me just pushing. And that's how I try to stay resilient. I read, I listen to videos. I don't listen to podcasts yet. I need to start, but I listen to videos. I talk to friends. That keeps me up and going. Huge shout out to my girl, Sabrina Brown, who's on. Hey, girl. Anyway, she
Hey,
keeps me
Sabrina,
going.
we love you.
Going as well and encouraging. And that's too, that if you really want to be rooted and grounded, have the right people around you who's going to tell you your truths, who's not afraid to say, girls, cut it out. You're better than that, or to uplift you. She's already texted me, told me I was doing a good job. That was encouraging to me. That fuels my fire. That, like that gives me chills because I'm like, I
Looking
have
for
people that's
my text message too. I was like, Sabrina, hello.
so that keeps me going. So that's what builds my resiliency and keeps me going and keeps me flowing because you need people in this industry that understands and that'll push you through. So
I love that. Oh my gosh, so much wisdom. And can I say that that's why I think Women's Council and Woman Up and real estate can be isolating, especially if you're leading, like all these three women are leading their own firms. It is very isolating, and but there are communities of support, whether it's at your church, comma, or Women's Council of Realtors or your local association of realtors or your other community organizations that are there for you, and if you're thinking that match with your core values, and if we're talking about a purpose-driven real estate career, get engaged.
engaged,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, that's how comma I see your energy. I feel it's palpable, your energy. So thank you for sharing. And thank you. Here's the thing. Thank you for sharing the wisdom of staying steadfast in your why. That is what I heard loud and clear. Steadfast in why you are here. And life is too short. Life is way too short. I love that, Eileen. Life is too short for the fluff. We don't need the fluff. We don't need any like bad people in our lives. So try to keep with your community of support. And Sabrina, I want my text message. Anyway,
Mine too.
I know, right? We all need a text from Sabrina. All right. So what can we ask Eileen? I would love for you to share maybe your perspective on how
Yeah.
you stay grounded and how you get through some of these tough times. And to
Yeah.
Kama's point, here's the thing. You are not the only one, Kama, that has not, I mean, that lower transactions are a reality this year. Like this
Yeah.
is a really tough year this year and last year. We are facing overall lower number of transactions in California. So if you're in California. So Eileen,
Yeah.
how are you getting through?
Yes. Okay. How am I getting through? So I was really, I have to say, regards to Women's Council, yes, it has really helped me focus. And I was, of course, the toughest time that I personally, well, one of the toughest times I personally went through was when during the pandemic, I was state president. Everything was fine and wonderful. And then March, it just turned around. And I had a great team. I had an amazing team that helped us focus on what we needed to do. And really, and also, shameless plug, I'm running for Women's Council National Treasurer. In fact, elections are June 5th when we're in DC. So it's coming down to the wire. And I'm so excited about it. And as I was making these phone calls across the nation and hearing their stories and why they got into leadership, we have a different kind of member. And that when it comes to we don't have time for fluff, it really comes from them. They have the business of running their network, but running their families and running their business. And it's like we have to really like Pam with her, like she has a set schedule on how she prioritizes her day, which by the way, I am not that disciplined. I do not run that discipline of life, but I feel really lucky that I have a focus not only in my business, but in leadership as well. Because when times get really challenging, I know who I am and I know what makes me happy, and I know where to focus my life. So I could focus my life on my business when it comes to energy efficiency, sustainability. I could focus my life on other people in leadership, and that really helps me uh, be very specific on letting all of the disruption go away. Because as Kama says, we're just going to have disruption. It's life. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small. It's kind of like just move along, people. Just move along. We have the business of living our lives and being human. So let's get on with that rather than being distracted by what's happening in the background, because truly, it really is distractions. It's how we choose our mindset. Change your mindset, change your life. And if you look at it as this is just a problem I need to solve, which by the way, we as real estate professionals, that's what we do on the daily, sometimes hourly, is we solve problems. So just be in the business of solving that problem and getting it done and getting a good night's sleep. For me, it's not 7, it's more like midnight, but getting that good night's sleep.
I'm in bed by 10.
10, there you go.
I prioritize sleep all the way. I love that. Okay. All right. So Pam, and we're gonna go around the room here because our time is short. I can't believe we're
Yeah,
already at the top of the hour, but
I know.
I would love for each of you, starting with Pam, to give a piece of advice to the women here and the women listening to the replay on what advice you would give to women who want to live and work more purpose driven in their real estate careers.
Okay.
No pressure, no pressure.
I know that's big. Advice to be more purpose. One thing that keeps coming up for me is this real estate is kind of designed to be all consuming, and
All day,
I
every
have
day,
found,
24/7.
yeah, this whole 24/7 myth, which I think is anyway.
Myth.
I think that, so my advice would be nurture the things that are important to you outside of your career and nurture them with the same amount of earnestness and intensity and love as you do your clients and your business. And to me, that is just key. It's essential. It leads to figuring out what we're passionate about, what our why is. And when the crap hits the fan, which it does, you have something to go to.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Pam. Eileen.
Can you call on comma? I'm still thinking.
Sure.
Comma.
I know I dropped this on last
Yeah.
minute. Comma, do you have a piece of advice for our audience here?
Yeah, just be your authentic self. There's a quote that says, be you, because someone else is taken. So never feel like you have to be like someone else. Strive to be like someone else. You set your goals. As Pam said, things are going to come your way, but always keep your why in front of you, and make sure you have mentors, a coach, people that will, and a village of people that will support you in all that you do. Your why is never big enough. I mean, it's never small enough. It's what you decide. And remember, life is about you. Always think about you in the midst of it. Take care of you. My biggest advice I'll say is make sure you find time for self-care, because you have to take care of yourself. There's
Yeah.
one you. That's it. And we
Mhm.
need that one you. So be authentic, take care of yourself, and find you a good village of people that care for you, love you, and will support you.
Yeah.
I love that. Eileen, I'm going to ask you to go, but can each of you add your Instagram or Facebook in the chat so people can get a hold of you? Because I know that you've sparked some inspiration here, and I know that people will want to follow up with you after the fact. Eileen,
Yeah.
you're taking us home. What's your
Taking
piece
us
of
home
advice?
in 30 seconds. Uh, this is what came to me is that partner with your shadow self. That a lot of times we try to put the negative parts of us in a closet in the corner, and when she comes out fighting, and that's when bad behavior surfaces. I have embraced all my negativity because I need her every once in a while.
Oh, that was me this morning. All
Was
right.
it right? And it's like, I need her. She's my partner. She is me. And so I took her out of the closet and I shook her off and I'm like, I love you. And I think that's where self-love starts, and finding your purpose in life is truly loving who you are. Everything, every part about you. So I think that's the advice that I would have.
I love that. And it bleeds into everything you touch and work on, and your clients and your family and all of it. So beautiful, beautiful conversation, everybody. Thank you so much for taking an hour of amazing wisdom sharing. And we will see you all at WomanUP, hopefully. And I do hope that people get in touch with these amazing leaders. So thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing WomanUP Wednesday.